Gives me much pleasure to be here. My apologies for the delay. We were actually held up because there were some major announcements made today. As you know, that Fiji has been given the honor to be the president of COP23 next year, which is the whole climate change effect, or climate change initiative, I should say, globally. And Fiji has been given that honor to become the president, and of course our Honorable Prime Minister will be leading that presidency. Straight after that, we also announced the fact that Fiji Airways has also made a decision to buy 5 brand new state-of-the-art 737s MAX 8. These are the new aircraft that have just come out in the market. The reason why I'm telling you all of this is that Fiji is actually in a very good space at the moment. The country is doing really well. Economically, we are doing well. But of course, we can do a lot more. And the only way that we can do a lot more are by 2 critical things. One of them is that we all, as Fijians, stay focused on doing our small little roles as individuals, as individual members of our societies, as parents, as teachers, as community members, and of course as employers and employees. The other critical aspect, of course, is investment in the future. And this is precisely one of the reasons why the government has made education completely free. As the teachers would tell you and the school manager will tell you, only a few years ago, the government used to give only $10 a child as a grant. Then it increased to about $30. Today, we give $230 a child to the school. So every single student that's here for primary school, we give $230. $250, $230. 230. 24. So this, ladies and gentlemen, the reason why we are doing this, and in particular for the parents, is we do not want any single child in Fiji to be illiterate. We do not want any single child in Fiji to be not educated. Because if we do that, if every single child gets educated, we will then ensure that they will be able to find a job for themselves. We will then ensure that they can maybe start up a business for themselves. Because that creates to sustain livelihoods. The country, when it grows, it needs nurses, it needs doctors, it needs engineers, it needs motor mechanics, it needs marine scientists, it needs foresters, it needs land surveyors. And the parents who are here today, your children and the students who are here, of course, they're only in class 8, you may think, but in a few years' time, they would be finishing high school. When they go to high school, we'll also pay for their education. When they finish high school, if they want to go to university, if they have the top scholars, we'll give them a full scholarship. But even if they don't get a scholarship, but they get a place in university, and you cannot afford to pay the university fees, we will also pay for them. So we will ensure that every child gets educated. Of course, not every child wants to go to university. Some of them may be very good with their hands. They want to maybe become a carpenter or a joiner. So as you would have heard, government has set up 13 technical colleges throughout Fiji. And we also pay for that. So they can go out and become a joiner, a carpenter, they can do pastry making, whatever the case may be, they can do electrical courses. And some people have that type of interest. So as parents, we'd like you to understand that please understand you no longer have the burden of paying for the fees. What we do require of you, though, is to be able to encourage your children to do the best they can. Of course, not everybody will come first or second or third, but as long as you know, and as long as we know, and I'm sure the teachers will tell you, they will get the best satisfaction if they know that that child has been able to reach his or her full potential. So this is the type of environment we are trying to create. And I also would like to take this opportunity, as the chairman of the board had said, that this school is established in the 1940s. Now, these schools have been essentially created, many schools, in fact hundreds of schools in Fiji, have been created by committees such as this. Individuals who have taken a lot of time, effort, indeed money and energy and dedication and perseverance to bring up these schools to this level today. And I think we should all acknowledge that, because if it wasn't for the school committees and the communities that have actually set up the schools, none of these schools would exist. There would have been an additional burden on governments, of course, in the past and of course in the future. So please put your hands together for the very hard work that these school committee members have done. Now this school, of course, the demographics in Fiji is changing. Nearly 1/3 of Fiji's total population lives between Nassori and Lamy now. Nearly 300,000 people. That's about 1/3 of our population. So obviously puts a lot of pressure. Now such a small school like this has over 900 students from class 1 to 8. You already have 100 students in kindergarten. And government, of course, needs to work together with these schools to ensure that we have proper facilities. It is actually many schools cannot imagine that they would not have a playground, and this school does not. So these are some of the challenges that they have, and these are some of the challenges we want to help overcome, working together with the committees. Last but not least of all, I would also like to thank the teachers. Again, schools such as this have a very high level of student-teacher ratios. Some of the classrooms have about over 30 students per class. That is actually quite high because there's a lot of demand. And I know schools such as this have perhaps a much better reputation than other schools. So parents want to send their children to here because they think that they'll get better excellence out of the teaching system or the teaching curriculum in the schools. So the teachers do put a lot of effort, and I'm sure as parents you would understand. Some parents, leave their children at the school at about 7 in the morning or 8 in the morning, and then they see them back in the afternoon. So those few hours of about 7 or 8 hours or so, you have left your children in their custody. These are the people who shape their minds. They actually provide them with knowledge, not just knowledge, but their values and the principles and the systems that these children will actually have. And many of them, in their formative years, will actually be modeled by the way that the teachers think. So it is very important we recognize the work of the teachers. It is also very important, as I highlighted yesterday at another prize giving at Sangam Primary School in Narere, that government is also at the moment carrying out an evaluation as to how best we can improve the terms and conditions in the working environment for the teachers, and we hope to have that implemented at least by the middle of next year. So let's put our hands together for the teachers, ladies and gentlemen. Last but not least, I'd also like to address the students. I know it's always very hard, especially in primary schools, to make very long speeches, which I do not intend to do. But for the students, of course, those of you who are receiving prizes, congratulations, well done. Those of you who haven't, congratulations to you for ending your school term. So those of you who are in class 8, of course, will be going to high school. Please work hard to the best of your ability, be able to assist each other. And overall, I'd like to say all of us, if we can all think about our country and put our country first. It is very, very important to become patriotic. And patriotic does not only mean singing the national anthem well, it also means that when you walk out of the school, when you eat your packet of twisties, don't throw the rubbish out on the road, because that dirties our country. These are very simple things. When, for example, you have your neighbor that may be in trouble, or they may be affected by a cyclone, or somebody's lost a job, the very fact, if we just even ask them how they are doing, creates a very good community basis to wherever you are living. And it creates a certain level of goodness, a certain level of community spirit in our country, and that, of course, makes our country a lot stronger. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank the school committee for the invitation, and I'm very glad to be here. I wish you all a fantastic new year and a wonderful new Christmas. Thank you very much.